Of course, there are some big countries that moved early in Europe to regulate crypto, and they ended up with no one, because no one really wants to go to those countries. It's not just about having the same regulation or having the same style of regulation. It's also and mostly about the environment. And Malta offers ideal working conditions, so operators know that if they employ people in Malta, there is a balance between employee rights and employer rights. Obviously, there's a very good tax system in Malta. And of course, apart from that, we have an authority that is one authority, not two, like in many other jurisdictions. So you're always dealing with the same authority. You don't have to deal with the central bank, and the central banks are of the past. So now we have the Financial Services Authority. It's a modern regulator. Young people, not children, but young people that have an innovative mentality. They really study the product. They understand the product. They try to help in the way you can fit the product within the regulatory framework, and that is how a regulator should be.
Yeah.
So that is how Malta became successful in gaming in the past, because we had that mentality, and this has been replicated with the MFSA. So, with all due respect to these big countries that are trying to bully Malta, using journalists to actually come up with some reinvented stories and interpretations of some ESMA reports, I suggest everyone just go read the report, get the information from the horse's mouth, and you will realize that Malta did extremely well.
All right.
And this also, as a chairman of the business section for virtual assets in the Chamber of Commerce, we have been extremely active in this, and we have published a number of articles as well, in order to explain in detail how this report actually went, exposing these journalists that were obviously had other intentions.
All right, so now you can take off your hat from the Malta Chamber and put on your VH Partners hat, because I have a question about legal and reputational risks. Because I'm also interested about what are the main legal or reputational risks fintechs have underestimated in 2025, and that could be a backlash next year.
So I think that one thing that I'm noticing is that many smaller operators that were registered as VASPs and now are trying to get licensed under MiCA, some of them will manage, but it's going to be very, very, very tough for them to be able to maintain that license. So some of them will not manage to get the MiCA license. Those that will manage will need to be very careful and will need to invest money in order to remain compliant. I think the two main issues are DORA, definitely. I think DORA
Yeah.
has been completely underestimated by everyone. And DORA is a very, very tough regulation. And that is where um, it's one of the things that, look, if you see it objectively, let's face it, we know that with all the hacking that has happened over these past years and so on, we know that information security is something fundamental. So you can't criticize as such a regulation that tries to bring security in these platforms. So we have to be honest. But at the same time, you cannot go overboard and expect a small setup to have that kind of to take on those kind of obligations, and because they cannot afford it.